Hello, and welcome back to Resilient Break Every Chain. As I said to you, those of you who know me, I am Susanna Wallace Armstrong, better known as Resilient Susanna. And I've become known as Resilient Susanna because of all the issues that life threw at me, but I was able to bounce back from them by the grace of Almighty God. And so we have this channel, Resilient Break Every Chain. Indeed, it's a pleasure to share with you not only my story, but the stories of others who would have gone down this road, who would have a journey that would have brought them to a place where they had to bounce back. And so we have been sharing so many stories. This evening, I am excited because I am going to be sharing with you this awesome, dynamic young lady. I was listening to one of her interviews on Real Talk Caribbean, and they described her as elegant and intelligent. And this is exactly just a little bit of who she is. So gracing us with our presence today, I am so honored as we do our Resilient Youth segment today. I have with me the elegant and intelligent Ramey, Miss World TNT 1919 and Miss World Caribbean 2019. 2019 for both of them. I said it wrong here.
That's alright.
Okay, so we are so happy to have you with us this evening.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So today's conversation is not going to be so much about the pageantry, because definitely we can find that all over the internet. We can just Google you up and we'll hear those wonderful statements and gracious interviews. I want at Break Every Chain that you would share with us who you are as a person, your journey. And one of the things I must say is that few people can carry off yellow like you.
You think?
Yes. And you just look so awesome in that yellow dress, and you have another yellow suit. I saw you, and you just look beautiful in yellow. Is yellow one of your favorite colors?
It is my favorite color. This particular yellow, in fact.
Yeah, I saw you in a couple outfits in yellow.
Yeah, I really enjoy wearing yellow, seeing yellow. I think it just makes everybody happy. It reminds me of sunflowers. I think it looks pretty good on my skin too. It makes me happy. It really does. It does give my mood a little bit of boost.
And that talks about all the originality of you as well.
You
and
think?
who you are. Yes, I do. So one of the things I want to know is, most of us grow up at some time in life, all little girls want to be a princess. They want to be crowned. And that's the part of the queen that I want to know about. The part that says, I always wanted to be. But then I listened and I heard you said you were stepping into a part of your journey, something that you had never dreamed of.
Mm-hmm.
So explain to me, how did you become, how did you end up on that stage? Share with us.
When I look at my journey coming to become the title that I now hold, it wasn't something that I necessarily expected. Of course, my mommy was a pageant fanatic and thought I would be the next person to bring home the crown. I'd always share the reference of the story when she would be talking to her co-workers and saying, my daughter's going to, be the next Miss Universe, she would say. And her co-workers would be like, really, how old is she? And she's just 3, but so she's always had that vision for me. But I think it's more about the fundamentals of the vision instead of the actual title. It wasn't something that was a dream of mine to be a princess or a queen. But I think my life experiences culminated to this point. I talk about becoming Miss World as something that was very serendipitous, almost falling in line. Because the competition has so many aspects, it has sports and fitness, it has top model, and so my life kind of mimicked those types of scenarios. I was in dance, I played volleyball, I played national team for about more than 5 years. So it really was framed almost to what my nurturing looked like, but it was never something that I thought about intentionally. Like, I know there's some women who thought about it and dreamt about it and worked towards it, and that's so excellent. Any dream that you have, you should be able to be passionate about it and work towards it. But my passion really was just being able to represent all the time. I think that was the fundamental principle under all my actions. And I saw that from my mother. I saw the way she represented, and it wasn't in ways that are publicly known.
Yes.
It wasn't on a platform like I now carry, but it was being the president of a community council about taking out the chairs when there are only a few people coming to the meeting.
Yes.
Service is what representation has always looked like for me, and that is how I carry it now in different spheres.
And I've heard you echo that a number of times, that you
Yeah.
believe your purpose, again, to something so original about you. People sometimes don't understand what service is. And hearing you at this tender age, I say tender because you are a baby in my eyes, I will hear you say that you believe your life purpose is to serve. That is phenomenal. And to know that your mom is your example, and I knew your mom over the years because I'm an NGO as well, and that's how I came to know her. And we connected in a way that we just embraced each other until today. Because why? When you go to a government office, sometimes it's just a formality. But with your mom, it was a connection.
Yes.
And she remained connected to us. And when we invited her to an event, she was sure to be there. If she couldn't be there, she would call and she'll apologize, but 99.9% of the time, she was there, and I really salute your mom.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, she's awesome. And I hear you say another thing, that you were raised by a single mom, and you said that with confidence. And sometimes we look at that as a negativity. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, I don't think the way that the person I am today would have been who I am today without being raised by a single parent. You talk about her showing up, but she showed up for me. And I'm very, very fortunate to have a mother who showed up. Not all single parents have that opportunity, and it wasn't without sacrifice. Mom showed up, but she did show up. She showed up in every way that I possibly could have asked and needed. She was, we'd always make a joke, and she would say, I could rest now, because she did her part, which is true, she did.
Yes.
I remember going to dance lessons, and she waited in the car hours on end until I finished. When my mother was held at gunpoint, and her car was stolen, and we'd be traveling, she's still taking me to swimming lessons. She would be the one who may quarrel about whatever I'm doing, but still be the one to support and provide. That woman is a phenomenal woman.
And I salute you.
I salute you. Yeah, the strongest woman I know. The strongest woman I know. And my hope is to get even a half of the ounce and ounce, a little bit of the strength that she's shown.
And she is into social work, community development, and all of that. And I understand you are pursuing the same path. You are studying now, and you're doing your degree.
So I did my, I hold a certificate and a bachelor's in social work and a minor in social policy at UB and my undergrad. And I'm currently pursuing my master's in social work as well. I mean, I like the thing too bad. I can't share all the time, but I really do have a passion for it. I think the principles taught in social work are very necessary for all aspects of society, especially in this time.
And it's so needed, exactly. It is so needed. And even your project, with beauty, with a purpose, your project was centered around that. That you can share with us a little bit, because it is about what is happening in society. And so many people still don't understand the migrant situation and how they are affected by it and so forth. You can share a little bit about that project with us.
Sure, yeah. I called my project Esperanza, and it was really in response to the influx of Nigerian migrants we had in our country, especially in 2019. We were named one of the largest Caribbean countries, the largest country rather, to receive Nigerian migrants per capita than any other country in the world. That's a lot. And so there are so many contentious angles that we can look at it. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of what displacement is a human rights issue. And it's issues that we can relate to. We know it is to feel scared and hungry. And I think anybody who's leaving their home to go to a place that they're rejected, it has to be out of wanting to have an opportunity to live. And the most that we can do here is be empathetic, listen to their story, do what we can when we can, with whatever we have. And I think that was the message that I was trying to trailblaze. And I'm so fortunate to have people be responsive to that and have NGOs want to collaborate with me and provide resources and services. And it's not a work, it's not a project that remains still, but we can think about all the way that we look at difference. I know you work directly with so many persons who are marginalized, and so it's just a representation of how we treat people with difference, how we treat people who are marginalized, who are less fortunate than ourselves, and the type of compassion we need. And I think like a compassion that's very inherent to Trinbagonians. I mean, we still live in a society that if you run out of salt, you could go and knock on our neighbor's door. And I think we were the perfect people to receive persons in situations like that. And I just wanted to remind people of that.
Who we are as a people. And then I always think of the golden principle. Do unto others as you will have them do unto you. And during that time I asked myself that question, if it was our country under that situation, we had to migrate elsewhere, how would we want to be treated as a people? And when you think about it in that light, it shows you that I must show sympathy. I must be empathetic. I must be compassionate. And I must lend a helping hand. So that project was really something that was timely and will forever live on.
I mean, we can talk about what timely now. I mean, even in the COVID-19 pandemic, we're seeing how much we need to be responsive to people who are less fortunate. I mean, we are going through such a shift of uncertainty as to what we do next. We're now virtually, everything is virtual.
Forced to adjust.
Almost, right? But it provides an opportunity for us to see the gaps in our system, to see the gaps in the way that, again, we treat people who may not come from the same background as we do. So it's a very, very good opportunity to recognize that and work on it.
And it will show who we are as a people, of course. So, my dear, one of the things, again, that I would like you to explore is your ability to balance stuff, because you balance being, you won in a fitness challenge, you were Miss Universe, you do saxophone and dance and all of that. How do you balance all of that? The young lady we had just before you, she was encouraging you, yes, try a little bit of everything, because at the end of the day, and then you are here now and I'm seeing you have been able to explore so many areas. What balancing that with studying and everything else has been?
I'm telling you, it's not easy. And the people that I have to give credit to, first of all, is God. I do think I'll be able to be in a position where I have balance or make it through all of the juggling, all of those aspects of myself. And as well as my mommy. We talked about it before, but my mother is so core to my support system. And just being able to be passionate about the things that you're pursuing. So because I'm passionate about, for instance, right now, the things that I'm juggling are school, work, I also teach public speaking, and those are things that I'm all passionate about. I'm passionate about social work. I work as a Children's Services Associate at the Children's Authority, and I think my work is very meaningful there. And so it gives me energy when I wake up in the morning, and so there's something to look forward to. I know that my clients and my children are looking forward to me being the best version of myself. And so if you find things that are going to be able to have you getting up on a morning and saying, as much as I'm tired today, I know that I have this passion and I want to do this thing because I think it could create impact, then do it. Find all that you possibly can, especially in your youth. When you have the energy. I'm turning 24 in the 20th of December, and I already feel like I have knee problems and heart problems. No. I'm kidding. But just really try to do it when you're young, when you don't have too many. They can bring so just do it all.
That was the time.
There's nothing you can lose.
Beautiful. Could you share with us, every one of my guests must share a resilient story in their life, something they would have experienced and been able to bounce back from? Could you share with us one of your resilient stories?
Yes, sure. There's so many. But since we are on the theme of women and powerful women in my life, like my mother, it would really be being a product of, as you said, a single parent family. I think one of the interesting things from my particular story of being a single child in a single parent household was that I understood that there were things that were missing, and so many times we feel like there are things that are missing in our lives. Asking the question, why wasn't I afforded this opportunity? Why wasn't I born into this family? And these are things you don't get to choose. These are the product of other people's behavior, and so a lot of the time there are myriad of emotions that you go through trying to navigate that situation, and it could be all sorts of things. For me, it was not being able to have a relationship with my biological father. One of the things that I was able to do in the past few years was rekindle my relationship with my biological father, and so I met my siblings. I have loads of siblings. I have a lot of siblings, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews.
Wow.
And the resilient climax, I guess, to that story was the power of forgiveness and the power of love. I am grateful that God commanded me, but also graced me with forgiveness, and the God I believe in talks about having to forgive others in order to be forgiven, and to show love to your enemies and be kind to those who persecute you. And it was really through that lens, through a lens of love and forgiveness, I was able to mend things that some persons would, in our situation, find
right off.
But there's something beautiful about it if you relinquish what you think you're owed. Because you are owed somebody, a parent to love you. You are owed to be nurtured and respected and feel secure. But you also have to think about the reason why you were given dealt this hand, and know that the reason why was to really allow others to have an opportunity to be inspired and learn from it. And I think that was my story of forgiveness and love.
Forgiveness. Because so many things happen, especially in society now, and you hear so many young people feel disadvantaged, as you rightly say, and robbed of what they consider life should be like. But every person, and I hear you talk a lot about purpose, but each one of us as we come into this world, only God knows the path that we will travel. And everything that happens to us, if we begin to see it as purpose, and I think that's one of the things young people can begin to learn from young. Normally we learn it when we're in the 40s and 50s. But if we can learn it at a younger age, our lives will be so much more resilient, because we'll be able to bounce back to what wasn't seen as a negative and turn it into a positive. And you're saying out of that you were able to gain your siblings. So you have all that family collection now.
And I don't want people to think that's an easy journey. It's something that is continuous. And every step of the way you have to be very connected to whatever ground you. And for me, that's my spirituality. And if you don't have something that's grounding, it can definitely be a turbulent experience. It's going to be turbulent regardless. I also think that it's the responsibility of people who have grown and have gone through to make and create spaces for persons to find identity and find purpose. Again, I was fortunate to be raised by a community by a mother who was very present and active, and was very honest about life and circumstances. But a lot of people aren't afforded that opportunity. There are young people who are neglected, and I see them and I work with them every day, whose parents don't want to be with them because they are behaving in particular ways. And I think, again, I do believe identity and purpose plays a core role in becoming persons who can contribute meaningfully and be sturdy adults. But I think it's really our responsibility to bridge that gap.
Beautiful, well said. So I don't have to even give advice to the young people, because you have been doing that all along the way. And that is really awesome. You said you were raised by a community of people, and I know you are from Five Rivers. And I think you all have an excellent thing going there in your community. That too has been a part, because the old saying, you're raised by a village, and you think it is no more. But here it is, you're saying your community contributed to who you are as well, as an individual. Wow, that is a blessing indeed. So God had a plan. You've seen that thread woven all through your life. And even in the negative times, God always has a plan. So would you share with us, before you leave us today, what is freedom to you?
freedom for me tastes and feels and smells like autonomy, being able to be who you are, who you were called to be. In my freedom, I see my salvation as my freedom, being able to live perfectly because of Jesus' grace and his covenant that he made with us. And also just making sure I live in purpose. Freedom is being able to be free from those things that my parents fought for. Free from persecution, free from neglect, and I think the autonomy to just be able to exist and explore those aspects of yourself, and the best version of yourself as you become and you grow. A safe space to do that is what freedom is for me.
It's beautiful. And finding your purpose, I must throw that in there.
Yes.
Because you're a person of purpose. So explain to our young people a little bit about purpose. Tell them what it is, and maybe a little bit about how you discovered that this is me, this is my purpose, and I'm fulfilling it.
Well, one of the things that I think about or I enjoy is that my purpose is ever evolving. So what I'm doing now is what I feel very drawn to, and I feel very grounded to. But in the next 5 years, next month, the next year, it could be something totally different.
So true.
So your purpose has to be something that you are intentional about in discerning, in figuring out, in pursuing, in making mistakes.
Yes,
To
it's
make
part of it.
mistakes. Yeah, and be kind to yourself when you do have those mistakes, and be kind to others when others make those mistakes. And so, for me, in my discovery of purpose, again, it has to really do with the way that God has seen me and God positioned me. Another principle that I work by in knowing that you're in purpose is serving what's in front of you. And I tell this story all the time about how I got this job that I'm in now, and it took me a year and a half before I was called back. A year and a half before I was called to an interview. And it meant that for the year and a half, I needed to be serving what's in front of me. I needed to be engaged in my community. I needed to be volunteering and saying yes to things, because all of that was preparation.
Preparation is always part of the process.
Correct. It's preparation for the next step. So serve what's in front of you. Be connected to what is going to ground you. And of course, enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's going to take hard work, you're going to have tired days, you're going to have fun days, but enjoy the process. We're here for a short time, so let's have fun with it.
Awesome, you're so resilient in all your ways, and I am so happy and grateful. Thank you, my dear. Thank you for being with us this evening. You have been an awesome guest. And we wish you all the best that God has to offer. And I know this is going to be a blessing to our young ladies. We're going to be sharing it all over the place with them. And we pray that God will continue to bless you and use you. I know definitely you have so much in store for you.
I receive that.
So thank you guys for being with us. Bye for now.
Bye.